Welcome back to another edition of Crafting and Crime Daily. Today we're going to recap the Michael Keatley, the Ice Cream Man Murders Trial, Day 8. Now, I still have to listen to Day 9, which was yesterday, and I was going to try to bring it to you all in one big expanded episode because I didn't do a video yesterday. I'll tell you why in a minute. But I really want to watch the whole day. Sometimes I skip parts and, move around and do other things. But I understand yesterday was kind of explosive, so it'll be on Monday. You'll see it on Monday, I promise. Yesterday and today, you'll see it on Monday. Fingers crossed. I know. I overpromise and underdeliver. What the hell? So, yeah. All right. First of all, happy St. Patrick's Day. And it is Friday. You get a combination. Whoop. Friday dance. St. Patrick's Day. Boop, boop, boo. Boop, boo, boop, boo. Okay. That was the Friday dance. And if you don't like it, there's other channels. You're not ever going to get the Friday dance on any other channel. I promise you. So, oh my God, not last night, but the night before. Wednesday night? Yeah, Wednesday night. I don't go to bed till 3 in the morning, first of all. I've been staying up really late, playing Minecraft, and I'm so into that game right now. Anyway, stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning. 5:30 in the morning, Stitch wakes me up. Now, when Stitch wants you up, you got to get up. And so I thought, oh man, he's bugging me. So I figure I'll just go throw him out of the bedroom. So I get up and I start to throw him out of the bedroom and I feel a wet spot on the carpet. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm figuring, oh, I could see that Duncan was up. I think, oh, he must have peed. So I start turning lights on. And it was bad. It was so bad. He had vomited in, trigger warning, he had vomited in a lot of different places. I don't know what the heck this dog ate the night before, but he was so sick. So I get everything cleaned up, let him go outside for a little bit, come back in. I'm sitting in my lounge chair with him because he doesn't want to go back to bed with my sister. And, he's sitting there and he seems to be calming down. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to bed. So I go back to bed and I hear this noise. I'm like, like 5-10 minutes later, I hear this noise. I'm like, what the hell? It didn't sound like he was getting sick again, but it just sounded weird. And I thought, what is that noise? So I get up and he is literally eating the carpet. I have a hole in my carpet now. So I'm like, oh, dear God. He had thrown up and then, yeah, what dogs do. So I sit with him for a little while. Now I've got a towel underneath of him. And every time he's scooting away from the towel, I move the towel. He's scooting away and I move the towel. Because I'm like, I'm not cleaning up this carpet anymore. So lo and behold, he vomits again. And it's all carpet. I'm like, oh my God. Let me tell you, I was nauseous the entire day. The entire day. Oh. So I cleaned that up. So now he's finally settling down. So I sit there with him for a couple of hours. It did take him a couple of hours to finally get to sleep. And he finally went to sleep. Now it's about 10 in the morning. I've made coffee. I boiled eggs so I could make egg salad for lunch, and I'm playing games on my iPad and listening to the trial. Then I go back to sleep at 10 and I wake up at noon and I'm like, I can't do a show today because now I got to shampoo the carpets. Yeah. which I did that. I know this was a long story. I'm so sorry. But anyway, I got my lucky shirt on today. There's not going to be any drama in this house. Is that sad when that's the drama in your home? You know, a dog getting sick? Anyway, this morning I wake up. He's outside the door. You know, we didn't feed him the rest of the day. I think he had one dog biscuit. And he didn't seem to mind. He just, you could tell he still didn't really feel well. And who would after you vomited that many times? But this morning he was outside my door waiting for the walk. And we went for a walk, and he was a little sluggish, but, you know, this poor dog, he's very, very old. Bless his heart. He's a really old dog. And we don't know what the culprit was. There was an old bone that he had hidden in his bed that Tootsie found, and they were chewing on it together. So I don't know if I threw all the bones out. I'm like, yeah, we're done with the bones because I don't know what's going on here. So we threw the bones out, and I don't know what he ate. I really don't. Yeah. So that's the show for today. Sorry, guys. Okay. Before I forget, guys, I have a new logo. Yes. Rose Prophet with Rose Prophet Creations has created a logo for me. And basically what we did was we took what I had and she elevated it. And it's not her original artwork, but she used her design background to help elevate a design that I already had, and it's just so cool. It turned out, you know, she did all these things to it, and it's just, oh, it's amazing. So check that out right here or here or here or here, one of the corners, my new logo, or maybe I'll just put it here. Whoosh. Okay. So she did a homepage for me, and the homepage banner, which is the wrong size, so I've got to work that out. But also, she did a logo for a t-shirt. I'm going to see if I can get some merch for you guys. Wouldn't you like to have a t-shirt that says Crafting in Crime Daily? Mm-hmm. Okay. Still diamond painting. I know it's Friday. I usually switch to puzzles on Friday, but I need to get, it's not that I want to get this done. I'm not at that phase yet, but I just want to know what the heck it is. I still don't know. So I did that side, and I'm doing the top. Still don't know. See, the top looks like the sides. I don't know if you can see. I think you can. I got all these accoutrements here. All right, here. Yep, not a clue. I think it's a crab. I think one of the sides looks like a crab claw. So I said to my sister, did Mickey get me a crab? How is a crab fantasy? A crab? It better not be a crab. If it's a crab, it's a beautiful blue crab. We'll see. But I'm thinking sea creature of some sort. Some kind of, but how is that fantasy? I don't know. Okay. So back to what I was doing. So I do have day 7 complete. I'm going to tell you all about what happened on day 7 of the Ice Cream Man Murders case. And I got to tell you, at first I thought, oh God, this is going to be a boring day. But I listened very carefully, like a juror. Any good juror should. And it was really interesting. And now I got this new notebook, and it just wants to close. I want to find one like I had before, and I can't seem to find this. I think I got it in one of the home stores. I love this, you know, with all the pages, and it's like a book, and it lays, you know, lays flat, but I can't find it. If any of you are like, know where I can get one of these, and it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, let me know, because this thing does not want to lay flat. So maybe if I just bend it a little. There. This is what happens when you shop at Dollar General. This is what you get. Okay, look. It's laying flat. Okay. It's problem solved. Yeah. So this weekend is a cross-stitch weekend. If I can find the fabric from my collection, I have some fabrics. I'm going to start some teapots, but this is what I was thinking to do it on this here. They're Christmas teapots. I don't know if this is the right fabric or not, but let me measure it. Hold on, let's measure this, because 21 by, I think this is 6, it might be 14 count. Oh dear, I'm going to be in trouble if it's 14 count. This is not going to be enough fabric, because this is 14 count. That means I have to go to Joann's. Oh, actually, no. I have another piece of fabric over there. That will work. Okay. Yeah, I've got another piece of fabric. So, okay, back to the Keatley trial. So I thought, oh, this is going to be so boring, because it was an expert witness that's going to talk about, she works for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FDLE. Remember when we were covering Murdaugh and there was SLED, you know, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division? Every state has a law enforcement division of some sort. So FDLE is what Florida has. She works for FDLE. She is a tool that FDLE uses. And what they do is they extract computer data and then they give it to her to analyze. Here you go. And that's what she does for a living. Kind of boring. So I thought, oh, this is going to be such a boring day. But it turned out to be fairly interesting. So first, the prosecution walked her through pictures that were found in the unallocated space of the computer. Now, what they explained was that the unallocated space is where something has been deleted, and that's where you find it, in the unallocated space. Now, when these pictures are in there, there's no data that goes with those pictures. Once you delete them, the pictures are in the unallocated space, but any data like date and time, location data, I don't think in 2010 they were doing location data, but any of the data associated with it is gone forever. But so the first 25 pages were just guns, just different kinds of guns, you know, and I don't know what the relevancy of that was. Maybe to show that this was his computer. Well, so what they did say was that there was one user profile set up on this computer under the name Michael. More to come on that. Well, I'll just tell you now. On cross-examination, it came out that back in 2010, many people used one computer as the family computer. And this user profile was not password protected. So you could open it and just leave it open, and mom and dad, who he lived with, could come and use the computer. So there's no evidence that everything that we're going to talk about was associated with him. More on that later. Yeah, really more on that later, because it gets interesting. Okay. Then we see some photos of Hispanic males, just a couple, 2, 3. And that was also in the unallocated space. Now we learn on cross-examination that in this unallocated space is deleted files, but not necessarily deleted by the user of the computer. It could have been deleted by the computer itself. So, and the deletion may not have been intentional. So, meaning, it's not necessarily that Michael Keatley's trying to hide these gun pictures. I mean, it may have just, the website may have been deleted by the computer, or, somebody cleared the cache. Cache is where all these files go to live. Like when you go to a website, it'll store that website in the cache, so that next time you go to that website, it won't take as long to come up. But if you clear that cache, then all that information goes away. And that's how those pictures might have gotten into the unallocated space. How many of you did I just lose? You're like, what? It's too early for this information, or too late, depending on when you're listening to this. All right, it gets better, though. Don't go away. Don't go away. So then she went over search terms. There was a spreadsheet she was asked by law enforcement to look up all these search terms and see how many hits are you going to get on this computer. And I thought, ooh, this is interesting. So I picked out a few of them. So one of them was the word creeper, which he was supposedly looking for this guy Creeper. And we know that Omar Bailan, the guy that lived on Ocean Mist down the street from the murders, went by the name of Creeper, and he was kind of like the gang leader out there. Then Ocean Mist was a search term, Bylon was a search term, Omar was a search term, law enforcement. So it was a whole list. So for Creeper, there were 185 hits on this computer. Now, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Wow. You're thinking, oh, did he search for Creeper 185 times? No. Stay tuned. Ocean Mist, 92 hits. Silencer, the word silencer, 497 hits. Bylon, the guy that lived down the street, I forget how many hits there were. There were hits on that. Then there was a uniform. That was one of the, there was 3,996 hits on uniform. On the word Omar, there was 11,602 hits on this computer. 11,000. So then on cross-examination, it came out that what this witness does for a living is, so you get the 185 hits, then you have to go and she would go and look at the hits. And so some of them could be just garbage, she said, you just gobbledygook, to quote her. So she picked out the ones that, for law enforcement, that just made sense, like were, appeared in sentences or phrases or not necessarily relevant, but what she said was content that might be relevant, text content that might be relevant. So she, after 185 hits, she was able to narrow that down after she got rid of all the gobbledygook to 6 hits. 6 that might be relevant. Yeah. Interesting, huh? So what the defense attorney said, so if someone stood up in front of this jury, which what happened on opening statements, and said that the defendant searched for Creeper 185 times on his computer, that would be inaccurate. That's not true, is it? And she's like, oh no, that's not true. We can't say that. Let me tell you, my jaw went, I had to pick up my jaw. Excuse me? The state is misrepresenting this data to the jury? Now, up until this time, I wasn't convinced on his guilt or innocence, but now I'm leaning towards innocence. I'm thinking, that's why I want to wait to give you day 9. I'm giving you day 8, but I don't know what day. I'm giving you day 8. Day 9 is the lead investigator, and I really want to see how he explains why they were focusing on this guy versus why didn't you investigate this as a gang shooting? Why were you so focused on the ice cream man? Anyway. So out of the 11,602 hits for Omar, zero were relevant. Not necessarily relevant. 0 were content that might be relevant. 0. Out of 3,996 hits for uniform, 0 were texts that might be relevant. All gobbledygook. Now, I don't want to be the person that had to go through 11,000 hits, but yeah. There was one hit for Bylon, and that hit came on October 24th, 2010. Now, that is interesting. And Ocean Mist was searched 92 times, or hits, 92 hits, and only 9 were texts that could be relevant. 9. Okay. So then the conversation or the testimony switched to this hotspot. In 2010, people used these hotspots so that you couldn't use it on a regular computer, but if you had a laptop, you could use that hotspot, and then you could go other places, and if that hotspot could connect to your cell phone service provider, then you could get internet access wherever you were. So that would make your laptop mobile. This is how it was done in 2010. But so the prosecution wants us to believe that, because there was data on this hotspot, and I'm going to get to that. But the prosecution wants us to believe that he took that laptop and he went somewhere the night of the murders. He wasn't at home. He was out and he was using his hotspot. Now, why you take a laptop with you to commit murders, I don't know. But in any case, it came out that, this guy at the time, the ice cream man, was living with his parents on a 25-acre property. And back in 2010, cell phone service was pretty spotty. Internet provider service was not the best. And on 25 acres, they may not have had the best internet. So a lot of people use these hotspots at home to connect to their cell phone provider, and they would have internet. So that night, the night of the murders, or the morning of the murders, Thanksgiving morning, 11/25/2010, between 1:18 and 2:29 a.m., the hotspot was being used. At 2:32 a.m., the laptop was shut down. 2:29 is when the laptop disconnected from the hotspot. And then at 2:32 a.m., the laptop was shut down. Now, during this time where they were when he was on the hotspot from 1:18 to 2:29 a.m., where someone was on the hotspot, they were searching Plenty of Fish. Now, if Michael's parents, mom and dad, were searching Plenty of Fish, then there's an issue. If you guys don't know what Plenty of Fish is, it's like Match.com. It's a dating app, or what? I don't even know if that's still around. Is that still a thing? I met a guy on Plenty of Fish once. We had some interesting dates. A lot of fun down in Miami. That's another story for another day. Maybe. Another platform. I don't want to get banned. Anyway, 3 connections to Plenty of Fish: 1:45 a.m., 2:01 a.m., and 2:11 a.m. So we're supposed to believe that he went out, he committed these murders, and then he came home and searched, or somewhere he was searching, Plenty of Fish. Now, the prosecution wants you to believe that he took that laptop and he was mobile because that he was committing these murders and searching Plenty of Fish at the same time. I don't know. Now, I'm going to have to go back and see what the time of the murders were exactly so we can marry all that up. But by this time, I'm going, this guy is not guilty. I don't think this guy is guilty. I really don't. So on the stand, the last thing I saw on the stand was a cell phone expert, and there was a spreadsheet of the cell phone calls, all the phone calls, and there were no phone calls on Michael Keatley's phone between 10 p.m. on the 24th and 7 a.m. on the 25th. Okay. And that's all I have. Okay, so that's day 8. They are going so slowly, and that's one of the things I understand exploded. It's going to bug me. That's one of the things I understood exploded yesterday, was the judge, when he vetted these jurors. He made it clear that this thing was going to be over by the, it was not going to go into the week of the 29th. So he's going to have to poll these jurors and see if anybody is not going to be available that week. Because it looks, when you're going through one witness a day, this thing's taken forever. And then the state pipes up and says they're not available that week either. So he's like, I'm going to have to declare a mistrial if we're going to go into the week of the 29th. So I'm going to see how that resolved itself. Oh, I think what they ended up doing was agreeing to come in earlier, 8:30 in the morning instead of 9. That gives them 30 more minutes to argue with the judge every morning. And then stay till 5:30, 6 o'clock every night and try to get this thing over with. I don't know if that's going to help. I really don't. Because, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, this poor guy has been sitting in jail for 13 years. 13 years. Okay. Let's talk about the calendar. Yes, the crime calendar. So we were talking about the Whiskey Creek murders the other day when I did a show the other day. That was Jack Murphy. Yes. Okay, 1967, bludgeoned and stabbed bodies of 2 women were found weighted down in Whiskey Creek Canal near Hollywood, Florida. Terry Ray Frank and Annalie Moan. They had been suspected of stealing nearly $500,000 in stocks from the brokerage firm they worked for in L.A. The theft was discovered after the women quit and moved to Florida, where they moved in with Murph the Smurf. Okay, that's where we left off. Now, trial and the aftermath. Okay, part 2. Murphy was arrested for the murders along with I'm looking at the picture. That apartment building behind him looks familiar. I used to live in Hollywood. It also looks like he's been beat up a little bit by the police. Got bandaged all over his face. Wow. Nostalgia. Okay. Murphy was arrested for the murders along with accomplice Jack Griffith. Murphy entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity and spent several months in a psychiatric hospital before the judge found him competent to stand trial. Competent to stand trial. That means that you understand the proceedings and that you're able to assist in your defense. Not that you're necessarily, he could still have a mental illness. In March 1969, Murphy was found guilty of the first-degree murder of Terry Ray Frank and sentenced to life in prison with hard labor. In Florida, there's no hard labor. You clean up trash on the side of the road. His accomplice, Griffith, was charged with second-degree murder and received a 45-year sentence with hard labor. That's weird. Murphy maintains that a third man, Rusty, murdered the 2 women, and he and Griffith merely helped dispose of their bodies. Oh, that explains it. No one was ever tried for Annalie Mohn's death. That's weird. While in prison for Frank's murder, Murphy was also charged with conspiracy to commit robbery and assault for serving as the getaway driver in the 1968 attack on socialite Olive Wolford. For this crime, Murphy received another life sentence plus 20 years. Not going anywhere anytime soon, is he? All right, let's read the Friday one. He's turning his life around. Murph the Smurf. Surf. Okay. In 1974, 5 years into Jack Murphy's sentence for murder, robbery, and assault, a group of champion athletes and local businessmen visited Florida State Prison, where he was incarcerated. The group inspired Murphy to turn his life around, and he became a mentor to the other men housed in prison, participated in the prison chaplain program, and led Bible study. He found Jesus. Okay. His earliest parole eligibility date was November 2005, but because of his good behavior, that date was incrementally moved back 19 years. and he was granted parole in 1986. He had more than one life sentence. How is that possible? Okay. November 1986. Murphy's ministry was prolific. He visited more than 1,200 prisons and became a keynote speaker on the role religion can play in crime prevention and rehabilitation. The conditions of his lifetime parole were terminated by the Florida Parole Board in 2000. He died in Crystal River, Florida on September 12th, 2020. Well, listen, the fact that the man had to live in Florida his entire life is a life sentence. There you go. Okay. All right. That's the show for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. I'm not going to do the spiel anymore at the end. My sister said it's getting old, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put a new end screen here with just stamps saying like, subscribe, share. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to be on Mickey Sunshine Creates show tonight, but I'll be live on my channel. So all you have to do is, when I go live, look me up. You don't have to look for Mickey's channel. You can just go to my channel. It's a new feature in StreamYard that combines my chat with her chat, and we'll be live on her channel and my channel, and we're going to talk about the mystery diamond painting, and we're just going to chit chat. We're the bickering sisters, yeah. So no crime. Well, we can talk about crime if you want to. Yeah. Y'all too. Okay. See you guys. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing another episode of the Lucy Letby trial saga. We're going to start with baby A. We're going to do babies B, C. I don't know how far we're going to get. But we're going to start describing the various murders that Lucy Letby allegedly what's the word? Oh my God. I have a condition. I can't get the word out. Committed. She allegedly committed. Okay, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.